So now this happens to be the third project in the data dictionary, project 3, in which we are creating project 3 in which we are creating a customer number, customer name, date of purchase, location, cost and quantity. And in this cost and quantity, we are going to maintain two fields. So one field for cost, one field for currency. Here one field for quantity, one field for unit. So we'll be creating like that. So we'll be creating totally 8 fields, 8 domains, 8 data elements, and then we'll be going ahead with the database table. So when whatever process that we have created, we have created domain, then we created data element, then we created a fields. So this is called bottom up approach. Bottom up approach. Now here bottom up approach, top down approach. So top down approach will have, first we'll create the fields, then we'll give data element which will not be there, then we go ahead and create reverse process of it, then we go ahead and create the domain. So we'll drill down, like first we'll create, this is called top down approach. Top down approach is slightly confusing and is not preferred because see here in this advantages, if you create one domain, that can be used in 100 different data elements, and one data element can be used in 100 different fields. So these are, these are something which can be used multiple number of times, multiple number of places. So that's the reason we first create a domain, then we create a data element, then we create the fields. That's how we do it. Okay, so let's go ahead and now create these domains for these fields, and then we'll create the data elements, and then we'll approach this. This is what we'll do. Let's do that now. Okay, somebody is already doing it. Let me minimize this. Let me do it, and then you can do it. So Esperides, I'm doing it in Esperides. So what I'll do is first I'll create domains, 8 domains, and then I'll create data elements. ZVA underscore customer. Okay, before that I'll just create domains ZVA underscore customer number. I'm not giving underscore DO. This is customer number. Then I'm giving the length as type as character, length as 10. Activate this. Here I don't know whether we have it. ZVA back 100 is there, I guess. So this is active now. Then we'll go for customer name. Here also I'll go for character, length as some 20. Activate.
after we create this workbench request every time for each new program, what is it actually used for?
It's for movement, right? For transporting our objects from development to quality and quality to production. So if you click on local object, it cannot be moved from development to quality to production. So that's the reason. I had explained that in the previous session. Anyways, I'll come back to that. Just remind me of this again. Okay, I don't want to miss this flow now. ZVA underscore. We have customer number, customer name, and then we have date of purchase. We want to create it as date of purchase DOP and create data element. Say okay. No. First, we need to create a data domain, right? So here I had to select this as domain. Create. So here we need to select it as stats, and here by default the length will be taken as 8 characters. Okay, you don't have to change it. Automatically it will take it like that. Say okay, and then activate this. This is for date of purchase. Then we have something called pin code. You can also give something like pin code. So create pin code can be of only 6 characters, so 6 numbers. So I'll give it as numeric here. Let us say take it as numeric because we have not taken anything numeric. Just want to take it as numeric text. And here I'll give the length as 6 because in general the pin code is always of 6 characters, 6 numbers. So I'm just giving it with that. So we have done it and back. Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead with the next. After pin code we have something like we have date of purchase, customer number, customer name, date of purchase, pin code, and we plan to give amount, cost. Create cost of purchase. And now here, because this is of type amount, we will give it as amount here. So here currency. This is currency key. This is currency. So CUR. So we need to give currency. And length is something like 10. Save. So the moment we give a field of type currency, compulsory it's mandatory for us to give the currency key as well, which we'll see. So currency is done. Now we have to create one more for quantity. Let's create one. So cost. The moment we create cost, you also have to create a currency. Without currency, it will not be complete. It will be incomplete. Currency. We have this data type as currency key. Now we need to select this as currency key, and the length by default will come. The moment we select the currency key, if you see here, the length has come by default. Just need to activate this. So once it's been done, we'll go ahead and back. Currency is done. Now we'll go for quantity. QNTY. Quantity and data type is something like Here we need to select this as quantity. Data type we need to select as quantity, so quantity field also will be there here. Quantity. Okay, so when we select a field of type quantity, then we need to create another field of type unit. Okay, so we'll just select this. Get called start. Now we'll go ahead with the data elements. We'll create data elements for all these things. ZVE underscore CNO. It can be the same name as well. CNO. Create data element. Customer number. Then we have ZVE underscore customer number. Go for customer number. I'm going ahead with directly the heading 20 customer number, activate. So if you miss these descriptions, if you're using in the report that gets affected. At this point of time, I'm just skipping that. Let's see where it will affect. I'll show you that later. Customer number is done. Then we have the date of purchase. Create data element. DOT. ZVE underscore DOT. And then we have further characteristics. No, further characteristics we'll discuss that later. Activate. Say OK. For date of purchase, I didn't mention the field labels at all. That is also possible. That also is possible, but it's not recommended. So date of purchase, and then we have the cost. Cost. Activate. I think like I'll just mention one description. Cost. Then we have quantity. No, currency. Currency. Data element for currency. This is purely for currency, and we'll go for ZVE underscore CURR is the data element that we created, domain that we created. So just save that. Currency, and then we need to go for quantity. We are going for the domain for this field. Going for the domain for ZVE and QNDY, and then we quantity. Then you have unit. We need to create it for unit. ZVE underscore unit. Activate. save, activate, back. Now we need to go for database table and we'll create a ZVA underscore cust is the database table. Create. This is customer table. In this delivery class, we'll give it as APPL0, that application table. Then we have display and maintenance allowed. Fields, the first field, as we already know, happens to be MA and DT because we need to make it as client specific. In general, that's a general practice, customer number. Unless and until the customer says us to make it as a client independent, you'll always make by default it as client dependent. Customer number. ZVA underscore CNO. Customer name ZVA underscore CNA. Was that right? I just need to check that. Not sure if that's the same thing. Okay, I think I missed creating a data element for customer name. So let me do that. Customer name ZVA underscore CNA customer name. Activate this. And then we have after customer name we have okay. So let's go back to that and then do it. Now it should work. Okay. Customer name and then we have date of purchase ZVA underscore DOP. So we should always give the data element name here. If you give a domain name, it doesn't work. So date of purchase and cost. So we have ZVA underscore cost. Then we have currency. We have ZVA underscore CURR. Then we have quantity QNTY. I'm taking as QNTY. ZVA underscore quantity. Then we have unit. ZVA underscore unit. Save. Activate. Okay, this data class is APPL0. Size category is 0. Save it. Back. Yes. Okay, so what's the error? We'll see that. Okay, so it throws error. You cannot save it. It says, okay, let me show you the error. What is the error? The error is that if you are given a field of type amount, there should be some reference field. What is it is it is expecting? It is expecting us to maintain the currency, and for quantity also it is expecting the unit. So that needs to be maintained here in the currency quantity fields. If you see here, for all the other fields these are all disabled, but for this cost and for quantity there is a reference table and reference field that is required. So reference table happens to be the same table here. You can also give the reference table of other, but right now we are doing it here only. Then we have the reference field happens to be CURR, which is just below this. This is the field name. And for this again ZVA underscore UNT and the field name ZVA underscore CUST, that's a table name. Then here we'll give it as UNT. Save, activate. Now it's activated. So technical settings anyways we have done it. And now we will also go for the buffering options now. We'll explore them. But now that we have given this, reference fields for the cost and quantity, now we were able to activate this. So it's very mandatory for us to have a additional field for amount and unit quantity. Amount and quantity, we need additional fields. This is what we have. Now we'll go ahead with the buffering concept. So what exactly is buffering is? Buffering is a concept of allowing the system to maintain a temporary copy of the table in the application server. Okay, just you might have done buffering in a lot of times in your when you are accessing some website and all. You might have used this buffering concept. Okay, so in that, now buffering is what we have to. So in the next session, we'll be discussing about the different types of buffering, what exactly is buffering, how it works, and then we have the DB specific properties, which are basically recently introduced, and we'll also discuss about the foreign key relation and primary key, secondary key relations, and we'll also discuss the search help and all these concepts in the tomorrow's session and next session. Okay, so done for today.